Welcome to those in the room and also those who are joining us online. Same as yesterday, if you need to access the materials, they're available under the Home Health Quality Reporting Training page in the Downloads section. There are 5 parts, so there was day 1, parts 1, 2, and 3, and then day 2, parts 1 and 2. So this morning's first presentation, the welcome and section GG presentation are in part 1, and then in part 2 is the drug regimen review and case study presentation and the related materials. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at the agenda for today. So today we will be covering section GG, functional abilities and goals, right after the welcome and the activity around the action plan. Then section GG will span a break. Then we will be moving into drug regimen review, and then finally we'll be doing an integrated case study that allows you to apply everything you've learned over these last 2 days to a real live example. And then we'll wrap up with, we've been busy answering more of your questions, so we'll wrap up with a question and answer session, and then we are scheduled to be concluded at 3:45 this evening or this afternoon. So I am going to go ahead. We have one new presenter joining us today. Well, new to today's presentation, but not new to working with us. We are very excited to have Ann Deitch back with us to present on section GG. Ann is a senior research public health analyst with RTI International. She's part of the team that developed the continuity assessment and record evaluation tool and was involved in training data collectors and data analysts at the Medicare post-acute payment reform demonstration. Ann has an appointment as a clinical research scientist at the Rehabilitation Institute at Chicago's Center for Rehabilitation Outcomes Research, and she is a research associate professor in the Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation in Northwestern University's Feinberg School of Medicine. So also back today with us is Kathy Roby, and for anyone who wasn't part of yesterday's presentation, I'll just quickly go over her background. Kathy is a senior consultant for home health care at Qualidine. She specializes in teaching and educating nurses, focusing on improving home health provider clinical outcomes and reducing acute care hospitalizations for the Connecticut home care providers. Prior to her current position, Kathy was the Director of Compliance and Reimbursement at New England Home Care. Kathy is an active member of the Connecticut Association for Home Care and Hospice, where she has served as the President, Government Relations Committee Chair, and board member as a member of the Education Committee. And joining Kathy and presenting today is Charlotte Steninger. And Charlotte is a consultant at Qualidine and has 20 years of professional experience in the home health care industry as a nurse case manager, clinical educator, and consultant. Prior to coming to Qualidine, Charlotte served as the Director of Staff Development at Interim Healthcare of Hartford for more than 12 years. Kathy is also an active member of the Connecticut Association for Healthcare at Home, serving on the Education Committee since 2013. So we're very appreciative of our presenters' time and so glad that they could be with us today, yesterday and today. Couple housekeeping things. As mentioned before, all of the training materials with the answers, so what's currently posted are the presentations without answers. But following today's presentation, we will post the materials with answers onto the Home Health Quality Reporting Program training webpage. We'll also post the case study rationale and any of the collateral material where answers would be appropriate. Video recordings of yesterday and today's presentations will be posted to the CMS YouTube site. And both when we post the materials and when we post the videos, we will send out an email to anyone who registered for the training so that you're alerted as to when those materials are posted and you're not having to check the sites regularly. And those emails will come from packtraining@econometricainc.com. So please have that not go to your junk mail. We want you to get those emails. And we'll also use your email addresses to notify you of future training opportunities as well. And then finally, certificates of completion will be emailed to those who are attending in person today. As I mentioned yesterday, we don't offer continuing education units themselves, but often you can use a copy of the agenda along with your certificate of completion to apply with your professional association and be granted continuing education units through them. So now we're going to practice using Slido again. So if you could all get out your laptops or your phones, and again, go to the browser, and if some of you need to reconnect to the network, please use the Lord Baltimore network if you're here in the room, and the password is manager1928. And then once you're at the browser, if you could go to www.slido.com. And when you get there, you'll be asked to enter an event code. And the event code is simply Econometrica. ECONOMETRICA. And I ask that those in the room and those who are watching online, you can all participate. We all want you equally engaged in the activities. So whether you're here in the room or you're participating remotely, we want you engaged in those knowledge checks and polling questions. We want you to be able to submit your questions to us. So show of hands, everybody in the room up on Slido? Okay. Looks like a good number. And so the first thing that we're going to ask you to do is to go to the polls tab. So you'll see there's 3 tabs across the top: questions, ideas, and polls. If you would click on the polls tab, that would be very helpful. So we're going to try one. So what school of healthcare was first established in Baltimore in 1840? School of Nursing, Chiropractic School, School of Dentistry, or Laser Eye Surgery? Okay, lots of votes coming in. It looks like nursing is so far the top vote getter. Some people are changing their minds. Dentistry is moving into the lead. I feel like it's a racehorse or horse race, don't you? Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and see what the correct answer is. The correct answer is actually the School of Dentistry. So these questions are a little harder than yesterday's questions. All right, let's go on. I think we have another question. So Maryland is home to which body of water? Oh my goodness. Lake Winnipesaukee. Thank you. Chesapeake Bay, Long Island Sound, or none of the above? Okay, now nobody's going to vote for not the Chesapeake Bay, I don't think. So let's go ahead and see what is the correct answer. And it is the Chesapeake Bay. All right, one more. This one's a little tougher. Which of the following is a slogan associated with Baltimore? Charm City, Crab Town, the Clipper City, or all of the above? Okay, this one obviously is a little more intriguing. So we've got 22% saying Charm City. Oh, that's diminishing. 26% up for Crab Town. 1% for the Clipper City, but a lot of you think it's all of the above. All right, let's take a quick look. And all of the above is correct. Popular Baltimore slogans include the Clipper City for the beautiful clipper ships of the Revolutionary War, Crab Town for the local seafood, and more recently, the Charm City. I have no explanation for that, though. All right, so next feature, we're going to be asking you to ask us questions. And again, we'll just go over that feature really quickly. I'll go over in case we have new people joining, particularly online. It's very helpful for us if you set up a profile because we may have questions of you in order to answer your question. We may not quite be sure what your intent is, or we may need clarification. So if you don't see your initial, your first initial up in the upper right-hand corner where there's currently a head and shoulder with a circle around it on the screen, we need you to set up a quick profile. So if you would click on that little head and shoulders, then basically you would be asked to enter your full name, so first and last name on one line, your organization, and your email address. Everybody okay with that? Need more time? If you do it correctly, basically you go back to where you were and you'll see that, I think you have to hit save or submit at the bottom. And then that little head and shoulders will turn to an initial. Quick show of hands, everybody okay doing that in the room? Anybody need more time? All right, now we'll move on to actually how to ask a question. So again, across the top of the screen, whether you're on a laptop or you're on your phone, there are 3 tabs: questions, ideas, and polls. So to submit a question, you just click or touch the questions tab, and then basically you can feel free to type in whatever question you would like. As you type in questions, you'll see that you can see the questions that other people have submitted. We do ask that you take a look at questions that have been submitted during a session, and if you see one similar to a question that you would like to ask, rather than re-entering the question, if you would upvote it or just like it, then you'll see that those liked questions sort of gravitate towards the top. Those are the ones that we will answer, that we'll try and answer first. So upvoting helps us understand which questions are more globally important to you as a group. And so those are the ones we're going to try and provide immediate responses to. And we talked about upvoting. Okay, so we are moving into our action plan activity. Before I turn it over to my colleague, Kathy Roby, and Charlotte will be assisting in the back of the room, and I'll be running around with the microphone when the time comes. That is the one area where you are going to use the Ideas tab. So whether you're here in the room, and actually it will just be for the people online. So here in the room, this will be a tabletop activity, and that's where I'll be running around with the microphone. But if you're participating remotely, we ask that you use the Ideas tab to submit any ideas that you have regarding best practices or actionable ideas for actionable activities that you're going to implement as a result of this training at your home health agencies. So I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague, Kathy, and thank you very much again for joining this morning.